Monday morning, 8 a.m. My primary concern is catching up on the posts that flooded my feed as I slept, the funny tweets I missed, and making sure I'm all caught up in my group chats. Simultaneously, Venezuelans are on edge, on watch at every moment, hoping that the sharp divisions in their government do not become the blades that snatch their own lives. As I walk the diag and move freely on my campus, 176 people at St. Augustine's College in Cameroon are kidnapped by rebels and militants. I forget that maybe the world is not a better place because absent voices like my own are uncommitted. I offer no prayers, fail to engage others in these global conversations, and selfishly absorb my social media content as heavier concerns. While I complain about the B or C I received on my latest exam, I sip on my warm cup of coffee while my brothers and sisters in Syria continue to endure the chemical attacks levied against them, most of which are orchestrated by their own government.
Approaching violence and hatred is easier said than done, but that does not necessarily mean it's impossible. For one, embracing change and be willing to update our files generates a form of practical idealism based on well-informed actions that actually make a difference in the world and reconcile with each other. We need to focus our mindsets towards not only optimism and tolerance, but also towards reconciliation rather than transformation. Besides, an economy or a society is not greedy or focuses on materialism unless the people running it are. We need to work with what we have instead of throwing out one system and beginning a new one to dismantle. The idea is to learn from our past and learn to face that darkness. We need to learn to be strong in our darkest moments and discipline ourselves from resorting to violence and hatred whenever we encounter something unfamiliar. That requires being open, and when I mean by open, I mean vulnerable. A crucial step towards a more united people is to be vulnerable, sharing our life experiences, sharing our past, sharing our emotions, sharing ourselves, and to be part of not just any movement, but towards the one we were meant to be and where everyone benefits from. A society that's kind, welcoming, and a community where you have their back and they have yours. I personally know how hard it is to let your walls down for someone who will remind you why you built them up so high, but we all grow from those experiences, and those experiences make us who we are today. Being vulnerable is when communities are built, based on the hardships we have all endured.
If one person can make a difference with hatred, imagine the effect that acts of compassion can have on our future. We all need to be a leader and take that step into the unknown that we have cowered from for so long in order for others to follow. We have let those of hate and division guide our actions and thoughts for too long. Looking back on history, the strides we've accomplished in dismantling violent tendencies have been tenfold to those that have generated animosity amongst us. While the past has been bleak, the future gleams with hope that we may once and for all rid ourselves of our bitter tendencies towards our neighbors, and it begins with our students. A study by UC Davis indicates that the increased diversity we have seen in campuses has led to not only increased creativity, but an overall increase in happiness among student bodies and faculty members. Students have learned to work with those different from themselves and find commonalities that otherwise would not normally happen in day-to-day society, and as a result, they become more efficient and creative in solving day-to-day problems. Seeing what we have accomplished at the micro level within student bodies, it is hard to conceptualize the leaps that we can make at the macro level if we can get a whole nation, if not the entire world, behind the movement of dismantling violence towards one another. My question to you is, what choice will you make?